What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and I thought that Max Holloway had the best knockout of 2024 when he knocked out Justin Gaethje out cold at UFC 300. And the criteria at UFC determined the knockout of the year was, firstly, was it a walk-off KO? Were you knocking your opponent out and then not needing any follow-up shots? How durable and dangerous was your opponent? How shocking the KO was, and how was the fight going? And I felt like Max Holloway's fight ticked off more boxes than maybe a guy like Ilia Topuria when he knocked out Volk or when he knocked out Max Holloway. Firstly, Ilia, he knocked out Volk, and then that was a clean KO, but he went for a few ground and pound shots to solidify his victory, but it wasn't like a clean walk-off KO. And also, you could say that Volk got knocked out 2 times before this fight, and maybe he didn't have the best chin in the world. But then Ilia versus Max, that was impressive because Max had never been knocked out. He had been dropped by Justin Gaethje, which for some reason a lot of people seem to forget. But Ilia hurt Max with a huge right hand, and then he hit him with a few more shots, and then he caught him with a clean left hook, and then he hit him with 2 or 3 ground and pound shots as Max was on the ground. But it seemed like Max was still conscious through it all, which doesn't fit into the walk-off KO category. But the level of competition, like fighting Max Holloway, knocking him out, is absolutely insane. And that would be my runner-up for the knockout of the year. But, it was insane that he knocked out Max Holloway, but I didn't really feel too surprised when it actually happened. I saw Max get clipped quite a bit in the fight, and throughout his whole career, he had been taking a lot of damage, so it felt like he was like a ticking time bomb. And when Ilia cracked him with that big right hand, I was like, damn. But I wasn't really as speechless as I was when Max Holloway flatlined Justin Gaethje. And for how the fight is going category, I would give the edge to Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje because Max was winning the fight. He was winning, you could say either 4-0 or 3-1 because Justin Gaethje did score that big knockdown in round 4. So you could potentially give him that round, but either way, Max Holloway was winning the fight, and he was winning round 5. And then he was willing to potentially throw it all away against one of the hardest hitters in the lightweight division in Justin Gaethje. And Max just threw it away, and he was able to score a huge knockout over Justin Gaethje in the pocket. He could have easily got knocked out, but he knocked him out. And the thing is, Max isn't really known for his knockouts. He's known as a volume puncher. He puts a pace on you. He breaks you down over 5 rounds like he did with Calvin Kattar, with Brian Ortega. That's his style of fight. Or he'll just beat you comfortably like he did with guys like Yair Rodriguez or Arnold Allen. But knocking out a guy like Justin Gaethje, who had been in there with Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson when he was closer to his prime, Charles Oliveira, a whole bunch of dangerous fighters. And yes, they were able to TKO him and, drop him real bad, but they weren't able to shut his lights out cold. And even a guy like Fiziev, who's a dangerous contender as well, wasn't able to hurt him. But Max Holloway came out to the lightweight division and he just stiffened Justin Gaethje. He face planted him. And the Ilia and Max Holloway fight was pretty competitive. It was both guys were landing good shots in the exchanges. Maybe Max had a bit of an upper hand, but it was a really competitive fight. And Ilia versus Volk. Volk was winning the first round, but eventually Ilia started to land his shots. He started to get the timing of Volk, and then he was able to get that KO. And Max Holloway was the underdog against Justin Gaethje. I thought he was going to get knocked out by Justin Gaethje, and I think some other people did have him as the underdog as well. But Max Holloway came through, and he not only dominated Justin Gaethje, but he knocked him out cold. And I don't think this was the fight of the year. I'm gonna talk about that in another video, but this was on some people's fight of the year. But I felt like that was a pretty one-sided fight. Yes, Justin Gaethje did have a massive knockdown, but outside of that, Justin Gaethje was getting schooled by Max Holloway, and I think it was a career best performance from Max Holloway. I mean, he just looked incredible in that fight. To top it off, it was at UFC 300, and in my opinion, that was a defining moment for that pay-per-view. It really made it very unique because there were some fights on the main card, like that Cody Brundage and Bonico fight, that weren't really exciting and didn't really need to be on there. The Arman and Saryukin and Oliveira fight was fairly exciting, but then you had the Wei Lee fight, which was a lot slower pace, and then you had Pereira knocking out Hill in 1 round, and that was exciting, but I felt like Max Holloway stole the show at UFC 300 as well. Thank you guys for watching. God bless, and let me know who you thought had the knockout of the year.